Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful time wherever you may be. We have snow here. It hit last night. So I am going to check to make sure we have a few things working here before we get started. So just give me a minute. We don't want to run into the same challenges we had last week. So I'm going to go over here and check YouTube and make sure that there is volume over there. So just forgive me for looking down right here in the beginning, but we are going to check out our systems before we get started because we should be live on YouTube for sure. I hope you are staying warm wherever you might be. All right, it says we are live on YouTube. Awesome. And I'm going to check here and see if you are out there. Go ahead and put something in the comments. We want to make sure that the comments are working correctly as well. All right. Give me just a moment. Okay, looks like the comments and everything are working well. I apologize for taking time to do all of this, but we wanted to make sure that we were not having any challenges this time as we broadcast. Well, is this your first interracial date and you're just a little bit nervous about what to do or maybe what not to do? Well, stick around because the Loveologist has certainly got your back. We're going to have a little chat about 5 awesome first date habits that will have you looking like a high value potential mate. How does that sound? Do you want to be considered a high value potential mate? Well, lovebirds, welcome to our love nest. I am April, the Loveologist, and I'm a certified matchmaker, a certified love coach, and the president and CEO at Authentic Love, where interracial relationships are our number one priority. So before we dig in, go ahead, subscribe, like, follow, depending on whichever platform you're on, and invite 3 of your friends to come and listen in because, again, we're going to talk about some first date habits, not just some first date tips. There's some things that need to actually become a habit with you whenever you go on a first date with anyone new. And also, before we dig in, let me apologize. I am so sorry because last week I was just on a roll and I was going and had no idea that you could not hear me. So again, I apologize. And we did go ahead and upload a YouTube video, the one titled The New Year, The New You, and The New Boo. I'm going to put the link right here in the chat. You can go ahead and copy and paste that over there and go back to it later on. But this is the link for The New Boo, The New You, and The New Year. So if you're out there watching, go ahead and put something in the comments. And I'm looking to see if I can see those. And again, I do apologize for last week. Okay, let's not tear up the camera here. And again, we couldn't hear anything. So we just went ahead and made you a video. Hello there, Miss Lorraine. Thank you for the welcome back. Now, our topic today is 5 awesome first date habits that will have you looking like a high value potential mate. Let's start here with your pre-date prep. Some things you want to make sure that you get done before the date. Think about this. Would you like to have a mini date, a full date, or an activity date? All right, they said the camera's too high, so hold on. Let me see if we can move it down some. Is that any better? Oops. Come on, camera. Okay, how about that? That work better? Okay. Now let's go back and get started again. Our topic is 5 awesome first date habits that will have you looking like a high value potential mate. Because that's what we want to be looking like, right? We want this person to think that we are going to be an awesome mate. So we want to make sure that that's what we look like in our actions and in our conversation. So to start off with, here's a few things that you need to do for pre-date prep. Okay? And as I was saying, think about, would you like to go on a mini date, a full date, or an activity date? Because see, here's the thing. If you're a lady, oftentimes the gentleman would ask you, what would you like to do for a first date? So this is your opportunity, okay? And a lot of times, gentlemen, the ladies will say, surprise me. So this is a great time for you to think in advance. Do you want a mini date? When I say mini date, I'm talking about coffee, maybe go to the park and just walk around, have a little chat just to get to know each other. A dessert date. Or do you want a full date, like a full dinner or a full movie date? And when I say full date, I'm talking about something that requires you to have each other's attention for quite a while, like an hour or more. That can be a little challenging sometimes. Or an activity date. Now, an activity date is like you go to the game room, you ride the bumper cars, you do the skee ball, or you go play putt golf, or you go do some type of activity. One of the advantages of having an activity date is that you get to have fun. You get to laugh. You get to see how the person is. If something becomes stressful, you can see how the person is fun, see if they can just carry on a conversation, and you can check their body language. A second thing that you want to do in the pre-date process, you want to make sure that you are dressed appropriate for the venue or the activity. And, you know, if you're going to an athletic type outing, it may be okay for you to wear some shorts, some sneakers, maybe a sweatsuit. But I'm going to suggest to you ladies that you avoid wearing Daisy Dukes. And yeah, just dress appropriate for the venue or for the activity. Because if you were going to Topgolf to play golf, you might not want to try to dress extremely sexy, but you do want to look nice, right? And interesting, shall I say. Also, ladies, I'm going to suggest to you that you take a spare pair of shoes. And I'm talking about a spare pair that you can stick in your purse. You know, like your ballet slippers or a pair of flats. Because, you know, sometimes when you go on a first date, you might find yourself out doing a lot of walking that you had not planned on doing. So it would be beneficial for you to be able to, slip out your heels and go jump in your ballet slippers. It just takes a few seconds. And since we're talking about a first date that could be your first interracial dating date, be prepared to be yourself. I'm going to say that again. Be prepared to be yourself. Don't have in your mind, well, if this happens, I'm going to do that. And if that happens, I'm going to do this. Be prepared to be yourself. One thing that I have found about interracial dating is oftentimes you connect with a person that you can be just comfortable with, that you can be yourself with, that you can just say things that you would normally say. But anyway, whether it's an interracial date or not, people don't like to date and hang out with people who are fake. So be prepared to be yourself. Number 2, we're getting into the date now. Be on time or early. I'm going to say it again. Be on time or early. Have your car already gassed up. If you're going to the venue in an Uber, make sure you call the Uber so that they get there early and they can get you there early. Make sure you're playing some upbeat music on your way so that you are already in a positive state and you got positive vibes going on. So when you see this person or you walk into the place and you showing all of your swag and your sexy walk, you're all positive and everything. Number 3, no chewing gum. No chewing gum. And if you happen to be eating, whether it be snacks or a full meal, be sure that you are not talking with your mouth full of food. Now, if you get caught off guard and you got to say something, but you got a mouthful of food, cover your mouth with a napkin or with your hand or something. But do your best not to talk with a mouthful of food. And ladies, I want you to be prepared, because if you're going out with a with a real gentleman, he's going to want to order for you. So you girls need to be sure that you are ready and open to let him order for you. You just say what you would like to have. And you gentlemen, be prepared to order for the lady, because she's going to be looking for that. She's going to want to know if you got those skills. So I'm going to go back and review these 3 real briefly. The first one was your pre-date prep. Be sure that you dress appropriate. Think about the type of date. And ladies, have a spare pair of shoes. Just be prepared to be yourself. Number 2, be on time or early. And number 3 was no chewing gum. And if you're having some type of meal or snack, be sure that you're not talking with your mouth full of food or cover your mouth. And, work it out how you're going to get that order in. So I'm going to take a little break here, and I'm going to look over here for some comments, some questions. Remember, this is Ask the LOVEologist. So you can ask questions while we are live, and you are also welcome to send your questions to me. You're on YouTube. You can put questions in the comments. You're on Facebook. You can put questions in the comments there. You're on LinkedIn. You're welcome to put questions in the comments there as well. And I'll be glad to get to those. And if we don't get them answered here in the live broadcast, you may have a question that I actually need to make a full video on. So be sure that you place your questions so that I can see them and we can get them answered for you. So give me just a moment. We're going to check for these questions and comments over here. She said, I think you should let your date know if you do or don't do outdoor dates, so he doesn't surprise you with a picnic or a hike. I really like that right there too, because sometimes they may come up with an outdoor date, and it's possible that you are allergic to something. Maybe you're allergic to roses, or if you're outside and there's a dog or something, maybe you're allergic to that. But you want to let them know, like she said, you want to let them know if you do or don't do outdoor dates, because everybody is not into that type of thing. Also, I know that some of you are still wanting to know how you can get involved or actually start doing interracial dating. And so I am going to put this link. She said, "Oh, you could be horrified of birds." I love it. I love it. Just a quick little side note, had nothing to do with this. But yesterday, I was walking to my car, and I got to the parking lot, and I looked around, and there was a guy walking two dogs. I don't know what they were. Well, they may have been Great Danes. They were big. They were quite a distance from me. I looked up, and all I saw was dogs, and one of them was barking, and he started yelling. I was like, well, there's not much I can do. I said, well, hello, boys. How y'all doing? And by then, yes, he had gotten control of them, and they disappeared. I don't know where the guy went or the dogs, but anyway, he got control of them. So, yep, you could be horrified of birds, and dogs could be a little too busy. Well, like I said, I know several of you are wanting to know how you can get involved in an interracial relationship, and how you can meet people, or just what to do first or what to do next. So I have put here in the chat 7 steps to kickstart your interracial dating experience. And there's a link there. You're welcome to copy and paste that and check it out later, because I believe it's a video actually. And so that will help you get started. If you have some questions or some current concerns, that will help you as well. But this 7 steps to kickstart your interracial dating experience is an awesome little deal to help you get going and make sure that some of your questions are answered as well. So let's go on to our next 2 points, because that was 3. So number 4, when you're on the date, remember we had gotten to the point where we actually got into the date. When you're on this date, one good thing for you to do is to observe their posture. Are they facing you, or are they facing away? And not just the upper part. If you can see their whole body, you want to pay attention to which way, do they have the top part facing one way and the bottom facing the other? You want to pay attention to their posture. Are they leaning in? Are they listening and showing interest when you're talking? What are their facial expressions doing? Are they smiling and got their head up and excited to hear about what you have to say? Are they doing follow-up questions when you ask something or when you say something? One of the reasons why I'm telling you to pay attention to their posture is because you can actually tell if the person is really interested in you and if they're paying you attention like they should be. Number 5, ask high-value questions. Ask high-value questions. There are many, many high-value questions you can ask, but I'm going to share 3. The first one is this. 2024 is going to be a great year for many people. What do you have planned to accomplish in 2024? I'm going to say that one again. 2024 is going to be a great year for many people. What do you have planned to accomplish in 2024? Number 2, if you could do anything, go anywhere, no time restraints, no money restraints, where would you go and what would you do? See, these questions are letting you know if this person is stuck in the right now, or do they have vision? Do they have ideas for progress? If you could do anything, go anywhere, no time restraints, no financial restraints, where would you go and what would you do? And the third question is, what is something you would like to learn to do or like to improve in? The third question is, what is something you would like to do or like to learn, or what is something that you would like to improve in? So I see here it says, I think you may also make sure your posture is giving the right message as well. Even if it's a no, you need to be aware of your body language. Now, see, that's really a real good point, because so often when we're in relationships, we're trying to scrutinize, shall I say, what the other person is doing. And so you want to make sure that your body language is positive as well, and yet your body language is not telling off on you. So I think that's a real good point, a very good point. Do you think that first question can be a turnoff because it sounds job interviewish? Well, it could sound job interviewish, but I recently asked a guy that, and I got a list of 5 or 6 things from him without him taking a breath. So, you know, some gentlemen, they like to brag about, what they do and all this kind of stuff. And that gave him a good opportunity. And, I believe if you are presenting the question not in a interview tone, it can come off like fun. It can come off like fun, because a lot of times when you are in a conversation and you're getting to know people, you can ask the question and they can respond. And then right before they end, they say, "What about you?" So that's something else that you want to pay attention to when you're on this first date and you're asking questions of any type. Just be aware that whatever questions you ask will possibly come back and be asked to you as well. So, like I said, you're going to listen to that music, you're going to be upbeat, and you're going to have positive vibes. So just make sure that your questions come out with the positive vibes, and that you're not hammering in those questions. But, it's a conversation. And this is one area that a lot of people have a challenge when it comes to dating, period, and having communications, especially in the beginning, is that it comes off sounding like an interview. So what you want to do is be sure that, if somebody is talking about something, your partner there is talking about something, you want to have follow-up questions. You don't want to just go from question to question, question, question. And you don't want to come out sounding all authoritative and whatever. You want to sound like you're really wanting to communicate and learn about them, and that you're open to communication, and that you're open to be asked questions as well. So I'm going to review again. We have the pre-date prep. What kind of date would you like to have? Be sure you're dressed appropriately. Number 2 was be there on time or early. Have that car gassed up and music ready to play so you have those positive vibes. No chewing gum. And if you're eating, be sure that you're not talking with a full mouth of food. Also, observe their posture, but pay attention to your own posture, because I'm going to tell you, your posture talks about you. As they say, talks about you behind your back or in front of you. It just tells on you, okay? And then ask high quality questions. There's other questions as well. I know this just came to mind. So this may be a question that some people may debate on whether you should ask this or not. But I think if you feel like you should ask this, or if you feel like you want to ask this, it is okay. And that is to ask the person, would this be their first interracial date? Now, when I ask it, it's because I've talked to them for a while and I'm trying to decide, if this is going to be where I may have to explain a few things along the way as we go along, and actually not explain a few things, have to explain several things, or is this someone who is familiar with dating outside their culture and they're going to just flow with everything or most of the things? But that is also an okay question for you to ask, because we're talking about interracial relationships. I know for me, if I know whether the person has experienced in interracial relationships or not, it has a bearing on some of the things that I might bring up in the beginning of conversations or may not. And it also may have if this is your first date, it also may have a bearing on how things are handled with the people around you. So I personally think that's an okay question as well. So let me look over here again and check out the comments. It says, I think that is a good question, and it could even break the ice and make them comfortable that you are happy they are open to seeing someone outside their race. Yes. That question can really, really make a person comfortable. It can really make a person comfortable. I know in that movie, Something New, that seemed to be something that they did not discuss upon their meeting. But the gentleman knew right off the bat that she was uncomfortable and everything, and he did what he could to try to make her comfortable. But that question right there could really take care of a lot of things right in the beginning, not just on the first date, but in the first few dates. It could help with a lot of things, because it also opens the door as you continue to date to ask them questions about different things, to see where they are or what they think about things that are in your culture that may not be in theirs. So does anyone else have any additional questions? I'm looking over here to see if there's a question or so that I may have missed. I really do appreciate you all coming back again this week and joining me again. There's a couple of things that we have going on here at Authentic Love that I wanted to share with you. One of them is rolling across the screen there. We have a waiting list for the Fire and Ice mixer. We'd like for you to sign up for our waiting list so that we can let you know when our next one will be. And in case you hadn't heard about these exciting mixers, these mixers are particularly designed for those people who prefer to be in interracial relationships. I've had people that have come to me and said, okay, so you talk about this, you've told us stuff, we've learned, we know how to do some things, but where do we find a large number of people who are like-minded and interested in interracial relationships? Well, here's your answer: the Fire and Ice mixer. So be sure that you follow that link Fill out that form so that you will be high on the waiting list and we can get you all the details about our next fire and ice mixer. And by the way, you can also bring a friend to this. So don't be shy. Be sure that you tell a friend about it as well, because everything is better when you do it with a friend. Something else that you guys might want to think about that we'll be sharing with you soon is our newsletter. It's called Interracial Dating Chronicles. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, because we will be talking about that quite a bit more as we go forward. But I've shared with you today two things: the 7 steps to kickstart your interracial dating experience. That's in the comments. And we have the fire and ice mixer there as well. So actually, let me see if I can make this go across the screen. Hold on. Oh, no, there it is. Oh, I'm learning how to work this platform. There's the 7 steps to kickstart your interracial dating experience right there at the bottom of the screen. So if you all have additional questions, be sure that you put them in my inbox, whether it be on YouTube. You know, I'm on Instagram as well, so you could even put them in the DMs in Instagram. You can put it at the bottom of the comments in YouTube. You can put it in the comments on Facebook. You can put it in the comments on LinkedIn. So I appreciate you all joining me here. If you found that this provided you with some good value, then be sure that you do put some type of comment in there so that I will know that this is the type of information that you prefer to get. And we will continue adding more to what we have available to share with you. What are your thoughts on when someone says, I'm trying something new? When you're on the first date and they say they're trying something new, well, I would suggest that you come up with a follow-up question or two. What do they mean by something new? And you might even want to ask them, what were they expecting? What are their thoughts? But make sure that you don't immediately attach to this person. They're trying something new. Be sure that you give them their space to try something new. Don't be rude, but be open. You actually may be their cup of tea for sure. But when it comes to interracial and intercultural relationships, you have to give people their time and their space to wrap their head around it. You really have to give them that. You can't force them in it. One thing about this type of relationship is you have to be in it totally. You yourself, they themselves must be sure this is something they want to do. Because as you've heard me say on many occasions, interracial, intercultural relationships are not for the faint at heart. And another thing too is, when you want to do this, you've also got to be settled that, yes, you're ready to cross the line and deal with whatever. So if this is something new that they want to try out, let them try it out, because everybody's got to do something the first time. But you don't have to be rude or jump up and slam the table and all of that kind of stuff. It says, is this a red flag? I'm not going to say it's a red flag. It can be. But you kind of have to pay attention to the whole situation, how the date went. You've got to pay attention to their mannerisms, their tone, and you got to pay attention to what's your gut and intuition is telling you. It may not necessarily be a red flag. And the reason I'm saying that is because I have come across several people who didn't even realize that interracial or an intercultural relationship was really their thing until they literally fell into it, shall I say? Or they were face to face with a person who just really rocked their boat. So I wouldn't use it as a red flag that you would say cut it off immediately, unless it was a bad date, or you picked up on some type of racial attitude, discrimination attitude, or whatever. Did that answer your question? Or did I just babble? But I tell you what, that is a very, very good point. And that is also a reason why you should consider working with me, especially one-on-one. Because when you work with me one-on-one, I help you with things that you deal with yourself. You're not getting blanket information, or shall I say general information for the public. You're getting things to help you with, like we were talking about, your body language, specifically for you. So you may want to think about messaging me so that you can get on my calendar. We can have a consultation and see where I can assist you as you grow in your interracial dating relationships. So I'm going to look over here again and see if there's any other comments or notes that I need to pay attention to. All right. Well, as of right now, I don't see anything else. And again, I appreciate you all coming back. I appreciate you all always supporting me and listening in, asking questions, sharing the information out with other people. And just being here. So my name is April. I'm also known as April, the LOVEologist. I'm a certified matchmaker, a certified love coach, and the president and CEO at Authentic Love, where interracial relationships are our number one priority. I'll see you all back here next week, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you keep an eye on my Instagram, you will find on there later in the week 10 date night ideas. So that's something else that you can also share with your friends. So it's been my pleasure to serve you this evening as usual. Bye-bye now.